Cimbrian War was a war that shook Rome to its very foundation, and in its course, dealt Rome one of their heaviest ever defeats. So terrifying was the threat from the north that the phrase Terra Cimbricus was born, a phrase that would be used for centuries to come, whenever Rome was in a state of panic. The war took place from around 114 BC to 101 BC, pitting the armies of the late Roman Republic against the enigmatic Cimbri and their allies. The war also played a large part in the introduction of the Marian laws. These laws drastically changed the way the Roman army operated. The old civilian model was replaced with a fully professional army. For the first time in Rome's history, could draw upon the lower classes of society. This change would have a profound effect upon the future of Rome, eventually leading to the fall of the Republic and the birth of the Roman Empire. Despite the impact the Cimbrian War had upon the reshaping of Rome and the devastation it wrought on its way, it is one of the lesser-known wars in Roman history. In this short video series, I would like to change that, and on our journey, also see what can be learned of the elusive Cimbri on their march to immortality. The first question to be asked of any war is why? Why did the Cimbrian War start? Well, to understand this, we need to forget about Rome, for now at least, and travel to the edge of the known Roman world, and look at the folk from whom the war took its name, the Cimbri. The Cimbri are one of the most enigmatic tribes of ancient Europe. Speculation and debate rages even to this day about who they were and what events caused them to meet head-on the might of Rome. The question of who they were is the most controversial, and as such, I will save it for a later video series. But what is commonly agreed upon is where they were. Many ancient historians and cartographers place them in the Jutland Peninsula, in modern-day Denmark. The exact location is somewhat obscure, but Himmerland is a prime candidate for at least making up part of their ancient territory. The name Himmerland itself is believed by many etymologists to originate from Cimberland, meaning land of the Cimbri. This is due to the switch of sounds in the Celtic and Germanic languages. A Celtic K can often change to a H when Germanic peoples settle an area. Much like the River Humber in England, that before the Anglo-Saxons arrived was most likely called the River Kimber. Finds in Himmerland, like the famous Gunderstrup cauldron, also support this idea. To the Romans, this was world's end. Plutarch even speculates that the land in which the Cimbri come from is where a day and a night divide the year into two equal parts. So what drove these untamed Northmen from their lands and on a collision course with the mightiest nation Europe had ever seen? Here again there is much speculation, even among historians of antiquity. From the writings of Strabo, it is clear that many believe it was Mother Nature herself, in the form of tidal floods, that caused their upheaval. Strabo states of Posidonius, a contemporary of the war, and Posidonius also conjectures that migration of the Cimbrians and their kinsfolk from their native country occurred as a result of an inundation of the sea that came on all of a sudden. Earlier in Strabo's geography, he also doubts previous historians, like Ephorus, who states, "The Celtae, as a training in the virtue of fearlessness, meekly abide the destruction of their homes by the tides and then rebuild them, and that they suffer a greater loss of life as a result of water than of war." Despite Strabo's doubts, it is clear from his own work that many historians before him believed such flooding was commonplace in the north. Given this, and the fact that Denmark's coastline even to this day is shaped by the sea, both from erosion and the laying of silt flats, there is at least some truth in the speculation of these ancient historians. Such disaster would certainly account for the numbers said to be migrating. Plutarch claims that 300,000 warriors plus their families were descending upon Italy. Although this number is probably exaggerated, it is not totally without merit. The devastation they caused Rome means they were not merely a northern raiding party looking for wealth and fame. There is another factor, though, that needs consideration, that of overpopulation. Large migrations are well recorded in the ancient world. The Gauls are noted for such expansions in earlier times. Large parts of Eastern Europe and even parts of Italy herself were at one time settled by northern tribes. In modern times, there is even evidence of much earlier migration. A genetic study focusing on the ancient Minoan peoples found they were in large part descended from Neolithic tribes from the very northwestern edge of Europe. In other writings, we also have reason and method as to how and why such a mass exodus was organised. Like the example in the Good Saga, that states that when the island of Gotland could no longer support its population, the Gotlanders drew lots to see who would go out and seek new lands. The text also relates that 1/3 of the entire population was selected in this way. Interestingly, these people are also said to have migrated southeast into mainland Greece. In any instance, if it be disaster, overpopulation, or a mixture of both, there can be no doubt that land was what the Cimbri wanted. In every instance of the meeting Roman forces, the offer was made: give us land for alliance, or meet our blades. So out of necessity, the Cimbri horde marched. The uncompromising and free folk of the north descended upon what the scholars claim to be the civilized world. Terra Cimbricus was coming.